Good morning. Welcome. Sunday. What is it? The 31st? Is there a 31 days? No, it's October 1st. Boom, boom. Okay. Happy October. Good riddance September. And now I already see a note saying something like October Spooktober or something. So let's see. September, historically the worst month. August, bad month, apparently, like according to memes. And now they're starting with Spooktober. And so what month is it not supposed to be bearish? I don't trade that stuff. Okay, I give them September. It turned out bad. But we saw it coming. And we were hoping it wouldn't come, but we saw it coming. So let's speak to where we are. And let's trade the facts in the charts as opposed to what Wall Street thinks should happen because of a certain time of year. All right. The Fed spoke last week. They gave us their opinions, and they're going to speak for the next 2 weeks, including Powell. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Some of them speak twice a week, some of them twice a day. I don't know. All I know is one thing. Higher, longer. Since last year in October, September, they told us higher, longer, actually since June last year. Higher, longer, higher, longer, higher, longer, higher, longer. Don't expect anything different. Why the market still expects anything different every time they go to speak, the Fed decision, will they stop? Will they pause? Why would they? They just told us. They spent a month saying 3 weeks, higher, longer, higher, longer. They're going to spend the next 2.5 weeks before they go into the hush period for the next meeting, higher, longer, higher, longer, higher, longer. So I know rates, they're trying to break the economy by raising rates until we all die. And let's see if they can do it. So far, they haven't been able to, but they could. We're looking at the SPX. This arrow has been here for a few weeks. We triggered the loss of this August low. We are trying to recover it. That's the SPX. So it's not game over. We filled half of it. We don't have to fill all of it. Actually, all of it will be a little bit lower, but we're trying to recover the neckline. Okay, so that is what's going on right here. And if I go to the SPY, you also are familiar with these lines. I said the purple, if we do get a rally, don't trust it. Well, we didn't get the rally. We triggered. We're trying to recover the neckline. This one looks like we closed some of this little weakness here. Remember this bad thing when NVIDIA? So that's good. We could fall literally to 412 or 408 and wouldn't change a thing. So if we drop to last week's lows and another 2-3%, we would have shaken out everything into this zone, which is super well consolidated. Okay, just to show you how much fear there could be or shouldn't be. All right, let's look at it from the Qs. The Qs have not triggered yet. Last week they did fall below, but they didn't close below. And they went back above trying to recover this neckline, which tells me that these are the frothiest. So we could drift a little bit lower without something weird happening. So don't expect super strength from here to high heaven. The mode is still the same. Use any strength to fix problems, but there are some bargains. Okay. And the IWM has broken, lost, and trying to find footing. It fell into a cluster of support. This is a basket of 2,000 stocks. They showed some relative strength last week. Right here, we thought they should drop. They didn't. If they had dropped, everything would have been fine. But instead, they chose to go all the way to the top without stoppage. Well, they gave it all back, and now they gave it all back. So they are done. They can be done. They could go to 170, but they should, without new reasons, this is a pretty good support area where we already saw. So the Qs are the ones that have the most froth left. Let's see if they take all the froth out. Okay, so that's the big picture. So let's jump into what is on today's menu. We're starting to see some people trading the futures. So we have futures questions, we have corn and soybeans. So we're looking at soybeans. I'm not sure how fast you're trading. If you're actively trading soybeans, then you should be in the live room. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I can tell you it's in the seller's hands, lower highs, lower lows, trying to establish footing almost like the markets. And they have a bounce level here, but I think the bounce will be sold at into the 13 and 13.2. I'm taking out some zeros. The last hard bounce was 12.574. If that fails, you're going into the zone. So I'm not sure how fast you're acting on that one or not. This looks like a wedge, that's a broadening wedge that is they're losing, and if so, then pretty big disaster coming. So come into the live room, we'll work with that. Same comments on the corn. I don't know how fast or active you are in corn. Falling into a base. If you're investing in this, I can't imagine you are. This is an okay place to start. If you're fast acting, that's a disaster. So now rallies into 481 are going to be met with selling. All right, into Apple, the king of stocks. It's been off its game. Now everybody wants to complain about how bad the phone is. Well, it's not about the phone, folks. Okay? It's not about the phone. It's about just who wants to buy Apple, the big guys that is trying to get it cheaper. That's it. So let's do this. Let's take consolidation start to here. So this, you see that? So it's the same stuff repeating. Last week it got tested hard. I would imagine they flushed out all the weak hands in Apple. There shouldn't be anybody in Apple right now that has a lot of profits that is called a weak hand. So they shake it out quickly. If I'm long Apple via credit put spread, I'm definitely not backing out. I shared one. It was still viable last week if you took it. If not, it's still viable. It was like a 160, 155, I think, for October the 20th. So the actual monthly contract. If it's still 40 cents or 50 cents, $50 a share a contract, I would do it. If not, I bet you I can find comparable ones. I do have to warn you that Netflix will start reporting in the next few weeks, so we want to be careful. Apple reports in 25 days, but Netflix, I believe, 1 or 2 weeks before that. Netflix, Tesla, and they all move the same way. ABBV, I'm not a fan of the industry. The company here, we have a high, we have a low, it's somewhere in the middle, so it fell into consolidation. It should find buyers. Unfortunately, the consolidation zone is pretty wide. So it's either here or 146. Rallies into 152, I think, will be met with sellers. If this bounces here, there'll be sellers up there. ACLS, I'm not familiar with it. Is that a biotech also? Technology and manufacturer, capital equipment, semiconductors. No, not medical. Big sellers at 168 through 160, 70, 72. How do I say that? Why do I say that? There's a lot of volume above. So this loss was costly. Look at all the volume. So now they have some work to do. 166 could bring about 170, but I think the fight there is going to be pretty difficult. And then it could be, if they overcome 171, then they can get to another $5. But that's a big if. Adobe, a few people in our room, Friday, I should say, liked it. They gave them a trigger of sorts. I'm not sure if it was a bottom trigger or not. My comments were yesterday when they mentioned that, I said I would buy the dip in Adobe, and if they were listening, maybe they got long at the end of the day. Because that was my arrow when somebody mentioned it in the morning. I believe it was Ragu. And it dipped like this. I said, okay, maybe I would catch the dip before it dipped. I said I would buy the dip. So if they listened, they got long into 510, and maybe they're long into a swing back up there. Adobe reports in 74 days, so you have time for that to play out. What the heck is this? So I would imagine anything above 524 is going to be hellaciously difficult. When was that? September 23rd. 923, massive fail. Just so I know that I'm in frothy territory. So if I get into the upper half of this candle, I would start scaling out of a trade. This is a pretty popular stock, but it's so tiny. I don't know what I would do with it. They report in 4 days, so take a coin and flip it a few times. Take the average of that. You would have just as good opinion as me. They're selling rallies, rally sold, rally sold, rally. Will they come back to 42? I would buy the dip into 42, 41, 40. And if they lose 40, they can get to the low 30s. Huge head and shoulders this way. You see it? So I'm not forecasting the breach of that. And I'm not a guy that does head and shoulders this way. The target of that guy is something like this. I have a new mouse, so I'm a little not easy on the trigger. Spent some money this weekend, bought some new monitors, new mouse. So this is a potential path. I wouldn't give it this much fear, and I would think that Nick's arrow would be more like this. I'll tell you why. Because the trigger is not going to be here in time, it's going to be here in time, and the arrow, this slanted arrow, would be like mine, target-wise. So I'm thinking that this orange, there are buyers in here. So this is not a trigger, this is not a trigger. Losing this or that would trigger the drop towards 32 to 29, but let's see what happens. Akamai, it's untouchable for me when it looks like this. There's no way on earth I would ever invest in a stock when it looks like this. Nick, it's so strong. Yeah, I missed it. Bye. And look at where it's at. Now it's back to covering that gap. It's not quite at the target of breaking out, but it's just not an obvious entry point. This is the acronym NOPE. Not a point, not an obvious point of entry. NOPE, nope, not an obvious point of entry. Albemarle. Let's drill down to the daily. They lost the neckline zone. They could still save it. Rallies into 184 through 188 are going to be met with big sellers. Bigger sellers into 196. Canva pressure on Adobe. Yeah, I subscribe to Canva. It seems like Adobe is $1 million, and it seems like they don't want me there. I don't feel welcomed at Adobe. Canva is all over social media inviting me to come. Since I'm not a pro, I would fall into the Canva umbrella. More plug and play, less vector knowledge and all that BS in Adobe. I had Adobe years, and I don't know, 20 years ago, I paid for it like $600 or something. What a waste of money back then. I mean, it does a lot. It is perfect for people who are pros at producing stuff, but not for me. You know, whatever it was I paid for Canva, it was plug and play. It was beautiful. Albemarle. So it looks like it's trying to place a bottom. Let's see what happens at 169, 168. I want to see what happens inside these candles right there. 168 plus or minus one candle versus 177. That's the battle right now. Yeah. AMD, let's see, when does it report? 31 days. AMD 102 to 104 to 108 has been a very pivotal spot. I had somebody misinterpret these words. Thinking that they wanted to short it at 104 or something, and they struggled. So here's my comment. 108 to 104. 104 was the official line. It had leeway up in 108. Last year was the trigger that brought it down to 60 or whatever it went. It's fighting for that level. What I meant is they shouldn't cut through it like butter. Like, don't expect it to go to 112 for no reason. So if you're taking a long here and you're thinking you're going to bank $7 out of it, I don't think it's easy. So yeah, it does have support. When it was up here, I said 98 to 95 is doable, and they went there to 95 almost exactly. They bounced. So now the challenge is, what do they do from where they fell and where they bounced? So I said this is the threat from idiotic NVIDIA. Look, support zone, no entry for me. Threat from NVIDIA idiotic rally from June or whatever it happened. So there's nothing to do for AMD for me right here, right now. Amazon, also beware of Netflix's earnings. I spent $900 last night on Amazon. I don't think people are stopping the spending. 130 is a tough spot, plus or minus $2. So I don't expect it to go back to 136 with ease. Somebody said something on Amazon that technically it did blah, 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 blah. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, okay, just be careful. Now they're selling rallies into moving averages. So it's likely to continue lower highs and lower lows until it hits solid support. Has it? I don't think so. That candle right there on the bottom left, that was the crazy spike from earnings, a couple of earnings ago, and it was death. And they just came back to it. I think they chop here a little bit to establish some volume. There hasn't been enough volume down here. 132 or higher should be very strong resistance. So I could sell put spreads for sure. I did, and it made money. It went right immediately, and it made money. I would close that. It's, I think, 50% of max gains. This week I will close it Monday, Tuesday, whenever I have a chance. I could repeat it on another dip. I should make those credit put spreads expire before the earnings of Netflix and Tesla. ANET, wow, check it out. So I put a ghost feed here. Yeah, look how this rally was just like the ghost feed. And what is this ghost feed? It's this pattern before. I said, what if they repeat the same pattern? I brought it forward. It's consolidation zone. Let's see if they hold. And if they hold the base they have, they could dribble higher, like creep higher just from that. And they have 30 days before the next earnings. Who is this? Arista Network. We've done this guy before. I'm not going to trade it though. ARKK. There's no way my mind would let me do anything ARK does. Not because they don't do good things, because it's just a mental block. There is no way. Study the companies inside the ARK ETF before you join it. Maybe you're already long that. So find out who is an ARKK. It's things like Tesla is in there, probably 9 to 11% of it. If you're already long Tesla, don't be long ARKK. It's the same trade. If you're long things like Spotify and Shopify, they're all in there probably. And so look into the ARKK and decide whether you're already long ARKK. 40 to 41 to 41.5 should be very difficult to recover. It could bleed down to 39. If it loses the low from last week, it goes to 36. It's not my forecast because a lot of the companies inside that, like Shopify, is already oversold, but that doesn't mean that they go cheaper. I would not get long here. That's what I'm saying. ASML, what's going on here? What is this? Why does it look like this on the 2-hour chart? I must have done something wrong here. Scale price charts only, log aspect ratio. There we go. All right, well, look at this. This was one of the forecasts we had for it. It came to fruition perfectly. So I said vulnerable 1, vulnerable 2. The yellow arrows came to fruition. And if I move this left from when I drew it, it was exactly how it unfolded, right? Okay. Which means what? I don't start bearish. If somebody got out of their longs here, they're not looking at the charts or they missed this chart. I'm going to tell you that there's a chance to repeat this pattern so that this bounce will fade, could fade, and end up at 510. I would get long around 510. So what would I say? I would say still vulnerable. Okay, I ordered a new keyboard too because this keyboard sucks. I like the feel of it, but I just can't get used to it. Still vulnerable. 1, still vulnerable 2. So rallies, exits. Rallies, I would exit. I wouldn't chase it. Nothing wrong with the company. The P&L is solid. I'm just looking at the chart. Broadcom may have placed a super strong bottom. Whatever happened here, wow. There are a lot of sellers into 850, 860. So this was a magical entry I hope somebody caught it. I did not see it, so I did not catch it. A lot of sellers above. I would get interested in the high 600s. This is a weak area based on higher time frames. So if they lose that flash low, they end up in the low 600s. So then I would be interested. I'm going to put an alert in the 700 area. BA. It just dawned on me. I kid you not. I woke up dreaming about this because somebody asked me late on Friday, what do I think of BA? Why is it falling so consistently? The only thing I can think of, interest rates. Like the higher the interest rates go, the less likely people are going to be leasing planes. Like not people, companies, airlines. And then I put it on my to-do list to go look at air traffic control. This year, last year, they have a good web page. They used to during COVID. I tracked it pretty accurately to see how does the air traffic compares now to last year this time. I'm flying this week, so we'll see. That's the only thing I can think, because even though I said it could drift lower, see that? So it could be headed lower. It's starting to look attractive from a trade perspective. But personally, if there is something going on with the environment, I think it'll be at 175. So if I'm selling puts and put spreads, I will be aware of that. Rallies are going to be met by heavy sellers at 200 to 205. Be careful. At one point, it looked unbeatable. I want nothing to do with banks. However, this one is falling into an area of consolidation right there. I want nothing to do with banks. Rallies will be met with heavy selling into 29. Banks make money off of the spread between the long and the short. And now that's getting better, so their life might be getting better. But I think they changed the way they do business because how long it's been inverted. So maybe they get caught left-footed. For example, if a business is if I have a restaurant and then my sales fall, I fire people, and now I work with a skeleton crew, and then business picks up and I'm shorthanded and I suffer. Something like that. I don't know. It's speculation on my part, but I do not want to get involved with banks at any level. I have zero trust in this financial government. By that I mean whoever is in charge right now, the Fed, the SEC, everybody that's in charge of our banks. I trust zero trust in their skills, not like they're nefarious. I don't think they know what they're doing. I think they're winging everything. Look at 28. You can't deny that it's important. Look at it here, look at it here. So rally into 28, 28.5, 28.2, I think we met with sellers. And it might drift down to 26.4. Let's see if we can get a forecast on it. So if I wanted to copy that, let's say from here to here. Maybe. Is this a bottom? Will it do this and take this out? Then I believe it. So if it repeats the dip, holds instead of making a lower low. Okay, so let me give you the alternative. That's the green one, and that's the red one. So the last one bounced, came back, made lower low. The one before it bounced, came back, did not, made a lower low, but not significant. Made a higher high, not significant. So will this one make a higher high or a lower low? So will it be red or will it be yellow? They're on top of each other. Boy, I can't explain that in hindsight. Right here is the battle. Decision. Higher high or lower low? BITO. So I want to revise my enthusiasm on BITO. I got a prospectus that they're playing around with the wording of what they do. What is their goal? They completely deleted the old wording in the SEC and added a new one, and it's a play on words. So I'm starting to suspect there's something going on. How? They don't invest in Bitcoin. They wanted to make that clear. They bet on the price action in Bitcoin to mimic the price of Bitcoin, which sounds pretty wonky. So if you're investing in Bitcoin prices, this may or may not be the right thing, but it's been a pretty good winner for us. So I'm going to leave some on. I'm getting paid every once in a while, not always, dividend, and my price is like in the 8s, like under 9. So I'm going to hang on to it for a little bit more, but I'm not going to be accumulating it like I thought I would, as if I would be accumulating Bitcoin. It is not the same. So I'm not closing my crypto account. I still have it, but any additional trading, I'm allocating some trading to BITO, but not accumulation. Right here, there's nothing to do. It's stuck in the middle of heavy selling and heavy buying. I did notice over the weekend that Solana caught wind and Mana, Decentraland. So crypto crap, perceived crap, is catching fire. Solana is like 21.5 again. It's been in the under 18 or under 19. And so something, risk appetite is coming back into crappy coins. And that's usually, that tells me that maybe the VIX is going to drop. So BITO, I wouldn't do anything new. I haven't done anything new. Berkshire lost footing around 357, 358. I think rallies are available into 358, maybe 360 even. I would fade the rally. So if I'm long here, okay, but I would fade it. So scale out if it's a trade. It could curl back down and then make a lower low after that, potentially. Okay, it could. Possible. Right? What is this? What the fudge is this? Hopefully it's not a tick. Maybe it's just the low 341. No, that is the low. What the... Okay, I'll tell you what. Definitely exit on a spike just in case. And wake me up when it goes there. Flash crash August 23. Wow. What the heck is this? Nobody asked questions? Huh. So I would sell a put below that to own shares. My fear with, I bet you what happened, I'm not going to say it. The thing is, the principals are pretty advanced in age, super bright people, look healthy, but imagine that headline comes out where one or two of them go, and that, although they left a good company with a good portfolio, the headline might spook the market and have a flash crash that is investable for the long term. So just be aware of that. I think they meant to say Bitcoin as in BTC USD, which should look about the same. The values will be different, so we'll go there. BTC is the market cap of Bitcoin. BTC USD is the ticker for Bitcoin. Prices. Okay, above 27.5, they can go to 28.8 with a lot of resistance in the way. My forecast for Bitcoin is still another revisiting the 33.35, and I would exit at 42.44. Long from almost the very bottom. And we have done such a good job since 2021. We said out at October 2021, that was the very top. We said we're re-engaged under 20, we did, and here we are riding the way back up towards 42, 44. One step at a time. I think it's ascending channel. They're challenging it right now, and even if it falls to 20,000 again, it's not a game changer. 22 would be better. 24 would be awesome if it stops there. But I think they're drifting higher. We'll see what happens. Wait, that's because I changed tickers. Okay. BTU. Peabody Energy. They broke out from 24. They could get to 28, but this is an exit spot. Look left. This was a pretty bad spot to be in before. So not to say that every time they go to a prior fail, they fail, but getting long inside this mess of sellers is not for me. It does have more room to go if they want to, but I can't make money from here to here. Buy the dip. So if you want to get engaged in it, like I did for that other ticker earlier, who was it? Adobe. I said I would be a dip buyer. somewhere inside, somewhere below 25, 24 and a half. And if you can nail the bottom, great, but that's not the goal. The goal is not to chase up. Maybe they do that. And then exit. I would say sellers up here. All right, and that's video number 1. Today, I'm going to break up the videos into 4 smaller videos. So this is video number 1. I'll go stop that.